live because who needs Mother's Day when every day is Daddy's Day? It's the Vocal Minority Podcast.
Daddy's home.
Yeah, let Daddy have the good times now while he still can.
Daddy's going to turn this car around.
Raise your voice.
Can't make it any worse, so you might as well.
Can you turn around a car that's falling off a cliff?
Has it ever been tried before? I don't know.
Turn the wheel!
Maybe this time we can defy the laws of physics. All right. Well, hello and welcome to this week's episode of the Vocal Minority Podcast. The podcast that says, he's making how much? What? On this week's show, we reluctantly look back at a terrible week for TFC. Celebrate. Yay, there's some good news. Some of the women's national team members and, their actual success. Review the Voyageurs Cup quarterfinals. Talk about TFC again. Oh, yes, it's a lot. And more. And now this week's panel. Eager to go on vacation to get away from the drama, it's Duncan Fletcher.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Let's forget
You're
about
not
all
going to
this.
miss this at all.
The drama's the interesting part, to be fair.
So what you're saying is that you want the drama to be finished before you leave?
Yeah, the actual football itself is, there's nothing special about that these days. The drama's what keeps me interested somewhat.
All right. Well, we'll see what we can do to keep the drama stretched out so there's still some for you to come back for.
Let's hope there's a away match to Houston when you come back.
Yes. Houston, always a good time. He's racking up the V Cup matches. Say hello to Mark Hinckley.
Yeah. It's been fuck was I thinking?
Was that three
I think
now?
That's really no, two. I bailed on the opening round, but I did.
Oh, right.
I did the back to back.
That's right.
That was a lot of soccer, but full marks to Charmin's fucking pies and his steak and cheddar. That is a delightful little bit of pastry.
Really? I've yet to partake.
It's I'm not about to say it's worth the drive up to York.
Yeah, but has
the pies are absolutely
a shop
worth
on
it.
the Danforth. So
Yeah, it's pretty good. So
all right.
But we can talk about that.
I've got to say, I feel like I missed the rebranding of that to Sherman's fucking pies. That's a good name. That's a better name, I think.
I think it's the actual name, but for decency, you can't put that on a business card. It's like, can we change the word fucking to proper? It's like, okay.
Oh, is that what happened?
Yeah,
It's marketing.
It's like the secret menu thing, except it's the secret name thing. Like if you call after 9 o'clock, he picks up, he says the full name, proper.
Oh,
nice.
Hilariously proper, which has the word fucking.
Is it a descriptor or a direction?
I don't want to know. The answer,
look, this isn't a Eugene Levy movie. Come on now. There's no Jason Biggs here.
It's probably best that I don't know the answer. So, but thank you for putting it into my head. That's disgusting.
He's back in podcast form. Welcome to Tony Walsh.
Zip zap.
Hey.
I also want to know when the Vocal Minority salary guide comes out.
It's been out. It's blank.
Yeah. I email it out every year.
Sure you do.
It's not my fault you don't check your email.
Also true.
As for me, I'm not shouting burn it all down yet. We'll see. I am your host, Kristin Knowles. Now to our show. All right, first up, of course, is what's been happening. And, let's just dive straight into the awfulness that is current TFC and their terrible week of last week. Yes, basically. So back-to-back losses to Montreal, which is basically the worst thing ever in terms of
weak rivalry. Oh, sorry, I meant rivalry week.
like not only like losing a Voyageurs Cup match, always terrible. To go out that early, horrible.
It's the magic
But
of
yeah,
the cup.
to do just no, it is the worst. I don't think there's like I don't think there's a team that it would be there's no team that's worse for them to have lost to back to back like that. I don't think.
Maybe
yeah,
Vaughn.
Yeah, Vaughn would have been good. TSS
York,
Rovers.
that would be embarrassing.
Yeah, but they wouldn't have. But they
Humiliating.
wouldn't have played them twice.
Would they
Like
have, though?
one loss, like a loss in the Voyageurs Cup. Sure, there's all sorts of options there, for sure. But to have your ass handed to you twice by the same team in the space of 5 days.
I've
That's
also
harsh.
I feel like that happened a certain playoffs in 2016.
I was just gonna say, are you talking? No, you mean 2015?
It's 2015. Sorry, yes.
Yep.
2017 they won. 2016 was the epic. 2015 was
last
the
match of the
what fuck's wrong
season,
with you?
and then hey, let's do the exact same thing with the exact same lineup
They'll
a
never
week
see
later, or
this
2
coming.
weeks later, whatever it was. Oh yeah, that was horrible. But it was Montreal again.
Yep.
It's always Montreal.
That was Montreal. Yeah, I guess. I think it's made all the weirder or worse, given how Montreal fired a perfectly good coach.
And got rid of a bunch of perfectly good players.
Yeah, a bunch of perfectly good players, and have somehow, I'm not gonna say thrived, but we'll say survived, trending towards thriving based on that chaos. It's like, how do you guys fuck up so bad and yet still aren't at the foot of every table everywhere? So yeah, it is worse. That's sorry, I don't know if there could be anyone worse than losing to Montreal twice.
Maybe the team that played the Allies in Escape to Victory.
True.
That wouldn't be nice.
No. So
It'd be
of
a
the two
feel-good
matches,
story, though. Yeah.
that would be a good story.
If losing to Nazis twice in a row,
Well, no, you said the Allies. Okay.
I said the team who played the Allies.
Team who played them.
I heard
okay.
it the way you did as well, Duncan.
Oh, I'm
I
sorry.
thought you were talking about like Pele and Ozzy
Oh, no.
Ardiles and
Yeah,
John
that's what I thought
Walker
too. I was like, there's
Michael
not
fucking Caine and all those
No, not
people.
the Escape to Victory team. I meant the Nazi Super 11, whatever
okay.
they were called.
Well, that's
No,
different then.
That was a crack team of ruthless professional like superstars that
True.
got ended up losing to that ragtag bunch of prisoners of war. There's no shame in losing to those guys.
Fascists. Always
Yes.
winning football trophies.
Ugh, the worst.
So of the two matches, I'm not sure. I'm not sure which one's worse. I was at the Voyageurs Cup match. I stood with a friend of the show, DJ Fuzzboy, and up until Insigne's goal, which that was lovely. That whole sequence. He didn't have to do very much for that. Obviously, it was the setup for it that was the key. But that first half was fucking dire. And if that goal hadn't been scored, like we were like, everybody wait for the boos when the halftime whistle gets blown, because you could sense it in the crowd.
It's TFC. You should start with the booze.
True.
There's nothing wrong with booze. Booze makes
And
things better.
Yeah, and lots of
Booze does make it better sometimes.
Source of and answer to all of our problems.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Dulling the PN. The PN.
But and then second half, Montreal just defended a lot, basically, and well. Two goals on the break, quick counterattack, which was poorly handled in every sense of the word by TFC. It was like, at least I did feel, at least in the second half, that it's they were at least trying in the second half, Toronto,
Oh,
in terms
that's
of
nice.
it was nice. It was nice. You felt that there was actually a chance that that they were going to tie it up, and then it was going to go to penalties, and then of course they were going to lose on penalties. But
I mean, it's nice for them to try for the fans. It's
yes,
good.
exactly.
I'm glad. Good on them. Good on
them. I don't know. What did you like? Mark, you were at another match. Duncan, did you get a chance to watch?
I was watching, yes, sort of on TV, and yeah, I mean, it didn't look particularly impressive. I mean, the second half was better, but I was in no way thinking, "Oh my God, they're going to tie this up." It was more just, okay, well, let's get this over and make it official, so I can go over and watch Hamilton lose on penalties. But they didn't.
No,
I know.
no, they
Spoiler.
didn't, Duncan.
But yeah, I mean, probably the best part of it, the One Soccer's halftime show, Gareth Wheeler and what's his name were very much just fucking ripping into sort of TFC for sort of that counter-attack goal, and just how like pathetic and feeble TFC's efforts were to defend it, like specifically to Bernadeschi and to Marshall Ruddy. Both of them, they were they weren't sort of playing nice and like trying to be conciliatory. They're all just, these guys, that was terrible. I
completely muted it because I couldn't, so I didn't even see that. Okay, now I'm a little bit sad that I missed it. That's interesting.
It was very quite good, and this makes sense. But also, no, all right, we're going to actually talk shit about this and not try and like talk it up as if, they're actually really good. So, okay,
that's intriguing.
Can be critical. That's nice.
So one of the things in this match, though, and in the first half, and it did, again, injury issues again for Toronto, was Alonso Coelho, who has been filling in, playing fairly well. Actually, he's actually been one of the bright spots for the team, of a team that has been basically, like 3 or 4 players that seem to try, and everybody else, I don't know what they're doing. But given the loss of half, chunk of the midfield to injuries, well, then he got injured with an ankle injury, like 22 minutes into the match kind of thing. So I was like, oh, great. And so a player who has been steady and who has been consistent, and, the midfield's been a mess, he's at least like trying, and then has to be subbed out. So that was also an unfortunate, but they lost. They've never lost that early, or it's been years since they lost that early in the Voyageurs Cup.
I mean, the quarterfinals didn't used to exist until fairly recently.
Good point, Duncan. Good point, Duncan. So they lost that, which was sort of probably their best opportunity for at least some goodwill right now to stem the tide of angriness.
The League's Cup is going to be overflowing with goodwill, Kristin.
Oh, so you're right. You're right, Duncan. I forgot about the overflowing cup. Yeah, it's going to be lovely.
The overflowing cup.
Yes, thank you.
How do you say that? How do you say that in Spanish?
Copa del Flood.
Copa del Flood. Sweet.
Yes.
So then we turn our attention
wet.
back to MLS play and Montreal, Toronto traveling to Montreal for this match. And, well, it was bad. It was bad. It was just not a good game. And again, Toronto missing like 10 players. 10 players.
A squad's worth even.
Almost a squad's worth. Exactly. Almost a squad's worth, considering most of the players that are out injured are generally starters. So not good. Mark Anthony Kaye slotted into the back, which actually didn't work that badly. I will say this, as an experiment, that was not bad. It was definitely magnitudes of improvement over Michael Bradley being slotted back there whenever that has happened, because that's always terrifying. But it just, oh God. So I don't know. We talk about JMR's fucking red card for being, like the second yellow was just like, come on, ref. But
yeah, it was for time wasting.
Yeah.
TFC losing at that point. I didn't actually watch that game at all, and none of the clips that I've seen here or there actually showed that particular thing. What exactly was his time wasting thing? What did he do?
It was a throw in for Montreal. So, and he was, they were just, the ball had just gone out and everyone was still sort of like around the sidelines, and he was right there. So he picked up the ball and he threw it over the Montreal player's head, which a gazillion, like we see it happen all the time. Everyone does this. It's certainly nothing like what's his name in net for Montreal during who actually did finally get a yellow card during the Voyageurs Cup match for fucking taking his sweet ass goddamn time to take his goal kicks. It was ridiculous. I was looking for a Norwegian ref desperately, Abby Wambach, to help out, but I don't know that I've ever seen a yellow card given for that. Do you know what I mean? I like, and I'm not just saying it because I'm a TFC supporter. I like seriously questioning whether I've seen a yellow card given for that. Standing in front of a free kick, sure, being a pest while someone's trying to do something, but like for just like throwing the ball, I suppose it's probably happened because it's obviously something you can do. But that was the second yellow that got him the red, that got him thrown out.
I don't know.
Yeah,
that sounds like something a TFC fan would say.
Yeah, yeah, definitely not the best week from him. Because I mean, why are you trying to time waste, dear guy? Why are you trying to be an asshole? Let's get the game going again. You're behind. Hey, what are you doing?
Well, and that's it too. Yeah. Now, do we chalk it up to youth in his case, because he is literally a kid. There's obviously a maturity issue there. So, and they're they weren't, no goals had been scored yet, right? A few minutes later, first Montreal goal. I
thought the goal happened before the red card, but as I didn't watch, but I feel like I read that was how it went down.
Oh, sorry, you're right. It was just before that. It was a few minutes before. Sorry, my brain reversed them in my head. Anyway, it wasn't good, but the effort on this one, again, with the exception of a couple players, this was a tough one to watch, especially on the heels of the Voyageurs Cup match. And it was a bit of a surprise, although I was happy to see it, that he pulled Insigne and Bernard, and subbed them out. Didn't keep them out there for the whole match. One of the few only uninjured players that they have. But yeah, it was just interesting. And that screenshot of the two of them, like it looks like Insigne looks like he's going to cry, and Bernadeschi looks like he's just consoling his friend, kind of thing. So like that's it reminds me of the Danny Kuverman's shot, we're the worst team in the world, just the expression on his face. Classic. That's how these guys look in this screenshot after they were subbed off. That's what this reminds me of. And that's the scary thing about this team right now, is where their heads at.
Back in Italy, thinking, we won the
$7
league,
million, really worth this. Yeah,
I could have been part of that.
Listing off all the Serie B teams they would happily go to for a discount.
Yeah.
I can only imagine how good Bernadeschi would look in a Cremonese kit.
Hey, Sampdoria just went down.
Oh.
True, that's true.
So, like, we have lots. There's tons more we're going to talk about these two matches. We're going to talk about most of that in a bit, but just in general, again, it seems like we do talk about this every week. Like, so we've talked about, what we think some of the issues are, but like, so is it still a lack of identity? Is the lack of identity due to the what is becoming batshit crazy number of injuries? Is it a coach that can't or won't change his tactics, a la early Greg Vanney? Like, where do we think because again, on paper, and this is the frustrating thing, on paper, this is a pretty decent team. Like, these are talented athletes who know, for the most part, most of them know this game, have played it well, have played it at high levels. Now, again, a huge chunk of them are out injured right now, so they can't contribute. Is it a lack of cohesion with the few players that are veteran players that are left, that with these other uncertain pieces? Like, you guys, how are we in this place again with this team?
Yeah, I mean, I think injuries certainly don't help. In the start of the season, we didn't look great, but we looked roughly competent-ish. And now it's all kind of falling apart a bit. But, injuries happen, and some of the big name players are out and that sort of thing. But isn't Bob Bradley supposed to be some kind of big name superstar fucking coach? I feel like he should be able to do a bit better than this. But yeah, and as much as anything, sort of injuries, and then it comes down to the fact of, all right, well, we've got Insigne and Bernardeschi. I mean, have to play both of them, and neither of them are particularly good at the whole sort of coming back and helping out on defense side of things.
That's true.
If you've got your full complement of midfielders and everything's all okay, and then you can have those luxury players. If you don't have bare bones and then a couple of luxury players who don't really help out all that much going back, you're kind of fucked. And here we are. So, change positions or dump one of those two, do something, but you can't really continue as is, because the defensive midfield isn't really that good enough to be able to be going up there with it's the two wide players doing nothing defensively.
I do think, I will say, I Insigne absolutely only does. Anyway, he doesn't defend at all. But I will say, Bernardeschi more than once has made crucial interventions, has booked it back down the pitch. I think but he shouldn't have to. He's definitely been in for at least a month now. I will do it all myself mode, which isn't good for any player. And certainly not a player that you want focusing on scoring goals and being creative and setting things up, instead of feeling like he needs to expend a ton of energy tracking back and helping to defend, kind of thing.
But then, go back to that breakaway goal that Montreal scored in the Voyageurs Cup. And
true.
Yeah, he didn't really look interested in that one, did he?
No, he did not. That is very true. Yeah, that was actually, yeah.
For me, it goes back to what we said so many times. I still don't know what this team is. I don't know what style they're aiming to play. I don't know how, what the long-term goal is, what they're developing into. Like, your two big assets are guys who don't have years on their side. And like, I don't know. Are they a developing team? Is this a project? Is this his win now? It's a rudderless team. Like, it is. I don't even have a clue. Even in the worst of times, we used to joke about the 5-year plan. I don't even know if there is a plan on paper with this club, or is it just like, what can we get because they're available and it sounds like it would fit and might sell a few tickets. Like, I just don't understand what this club is right now. They don't develop, they only develop from the youth when there's a crisis. They're still
don't get rid of the youth as quickly as they possibly can afterwards as
yeah
well.
who go on to do solid jobs elsewhere. And I think a lot of that impatience has to do with selling tickets. They're stuck in the mode that the place was half empty until Lewicki came in and started buying big name players. Yeah, I don't know. It's been a long time under Bradley now, and even prior to that, and take the year prior to that as an extension of that. I don't know. Forgive me if someone has an answer. I'd love to hear it, but I don't know what this team is.
I kind of feel like that the plan was always about trust Bob.
Yeah.
And I kind of feel like with every setback, he gets hauled in front of the suits and he can appease them somehow. He can, not to say that he because the idea of making excuses is this terrible, terrible thing. Oh, he's just making excuses. On the other hand, fuck you, they're legit. You know what I mean? 10 guys being down is a lot of fucking people.
Mm-hmm.
How much of that could the club control? Who knows? Let's say they had the most perfect fucking health system, doctors, nutritionists, kinesiologists working there. I'd still say 6 would be hurt. Would we be better off with randomly 4 of them being still healthy? Don't know. Probably not. Probably still getting a couple more draws. So I don't know. I kind of feel like with these setbacks, they also coincide with some other kind of setback, which then he can easily point to, but I don't even have the team I wanted. And that's just injuries. That's just injuries. 10 guys is a lot. And how many of them are regular starters? Most.
Yep.
It's crazy. So basically, I'm not trying to say that he deserves more time and a longer leash, because it's a long fucking leash. Let's be honest. But the idea that what is keeping him employed? What is keeping this regime employed? To be perfectly honest, he's got a lot of evidence to support, well, this is why things aren't happening. So, and as much as we'd like to think, well, if we get a new coach, we'll have direction, we'll have this, we'll have that.
But you still don't have healthy players.
Still don't have 10 healthy players. Yeah. You're still someone's taking control of the same busted ass boat with no way of patching the holes. So I'm again, not an exec, I'm not the one who gets to pull the trigger here, but you have to think there's a lot of reasons for you to go, you know what, he's not wrong. And the thing is, though, once they're all healthy and they're not producing, he's not going to get a month. He's going to get a game, 2 games max, because it's okay, now you've literally run out of excuses. Oh, we played the best team in the league or whatever. No, sorry. You've had plenty of time. You've got your healthy, perfect starting 11 that this club has, and you still lost 3-1. Sorry. But until then, he's got rope.
The funny thing is, when I was saying what I was saying about the club being rudders, the funny thing is, I wasn't even in my head thinking much about Bob Bradley when I said that. It's almost like top to bottom.
He doesn't feel like he's in charge, does he?
Yeah, it doesn't. It feels like he's visiting, to be honest. It doesn't it kind of feels like he's just here happens to be here because my dad's stopping by. He's over there on the sidelines.
He's going to help out for a bit. Is that all right?
This guy can help out with the babysitting. That'll be nice. Yeah.
It's never quite felt like, oh, it's Bradley's team. It's okay, sure. Injuries aside, it's for me personally, at least, it's never felt like it's been some big Bob Bradley project. And back to what Mark said, I think the philosophy or the strategy was, let Bob fix it kind of thing. But what does that mean? Like, the success he had at, like, say LAFC, they seem to have a specific style and kind of player they were buying. And it's MLS. I know it's not quite like it is elsewhere where, teams have long standing philosophies on how they play and stuff like that. But I don't know. It for TFC for the last few years, it just seems like, let's just throw a bunch of things at the wall and hopefully something will work.
It's feeling very early days TFC.
Yeah, a little bit, but with more investment. But
with more money, but still less same results in.
Yeah. I mean, it's maybe not quite Gambians in the basement, but it's which is still the better name for this podcast, by the way.
You had your chance.
I know. But yeah, it's scattergun. Like say for instance, and I'm not even sitting here saying, Bradley out or whatever. Because it's like, I don't know what difference does it make. Like, yeah, you bring in a new manager, unless it's like a big grand philosophy, like this manager is bringing in, what are you switching to? It's kind of like going back. It's kind of like going back to, even though we know how this worked out with Aaron Winter, but the idea was, to build a club philosophies that when one manager moves on, the next manager comes in playing the same style, and you're developing your young players to play in that style. I don't know. TFC just, to me, is just careening all over the place, desperately trying to hang on to relevancy.
Fun.
Very true.
All the fun. So much fun. All right, we're gonna talk more about all of this stuff and some off the pitch stuff in a little bit, but let's move on to at least something a bit celebratory and some standout moments for some of the WNTXNT members on the weekend. Jesse Fleming and Kadisha Buchanan, FA Cup winners.
Hooray!
With Chelsea.
Boo.
Sorry, Jade Riviere and Mark.
Context.
News.
They beat Man United.
It was great.
Fuckers.
Also, they play for Chelsea.
Yes.
Well, so that is Jessie Fleming. That's her third FA Cup with Chelsea, because she's been with Chelsea for a while now, and Kadisha's first since making the move to the WSL. So congratulations to them.
Yes.
Like, if you watch I watched most of the match, and again, FA player, still can't believe that shit is free and shows like everything for the WSL. Anyways, it's fucking great. Great quality, casts beautifully. It's wonderful.
Kristin, I am so sorry. I didn't even think to ask you, because obviously you would have known about the FA player. I could not figure out where the fuck to find the match. Could not. I'm like, why isn't it on? Because I know like Sportsnet or one of those like has like the Super League and all this.
Yes.
Like, why wouldn't a game this big just have a spot? And I never even thought the player. So that's on me. And
always ask me, man. Always ask.
Yeah. I'm going from now on.
Okay.
And keep those DMs open. Well, they're always open, but
all right.
Specifically for this, keep them open.
Okay. And then Chloe Lacasse, league MVP for the Portuguese Women's League.
Cool.
Fantastic.
Yeah. After having just a standout season with Benfica, and she's just been a force. It's been so much fun to see. She get over 20 goals, 10 assists, 21 goals, 13 assists just in domestic league play. Like, she's just been unstoppable. It's been
how many games is that done?
I don't have a schedule in front of me, but
fair enough. Really not important.
presumably, yes. a robust number of games. She's a regular starter for them.
20. Well, she got 21 matches. So, but as far as the league itself, give me a moment. I'll have that answer.
Oh yeah, and she scored during. Anyway, she's delightful. Possibly, if she can translate this into, she has scored some nice goals for the national team. But maybe they start to shift their focus to her, as stepping into Cincy's shoes, perhaps. Might not be a bad idea. Anyway, congratulations to her for an excellent season. And it's just, to see Canadian players get that sort of, those sort of plaudits it's lovely. So huzzah. Marcus, have you found the number of games?
20. It's a 22 game season.
There we go.
All right.
Almost a goal a game. That's not too shabby.
Prolific as
Seriously, right? Like she just wanted you to just count on her, right? It's just like boom, 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 boom. It's great. Fucking love it. All right. What we're talking about. Oh, so many things. But first, let's talk about the Voyageurs Cup. A little more, not just, we've already talked about Toronto and Montreal, so we know what happened there. Yeah. Mark,
yes.
Do you want to talk about what happened next at the same on the same night?
Well, funny you should ask. And Duncan already kind of alluded to it.
I know, but I wanted to give you your moment.
Yes. Well, a moment. I don't know if I'm
Several
over
moments?
fucking penalties.
10 minutes? I don't know. How much time do you want, man?
Not that much. So,
okay.
For those of you who did not tune into last episode, what's wrong with you? Duncan predicted that Forge would lose on penalties.
They always do.
Second minute.
It's tradition.
In the 82nd minute, up 1-0, who gives up a fucking penalty in front of us? But Forge. I was quick enough to get my phone out to film the goal going in, the scoreboard showing 1-0 to 1-1, clearly with the time, and I sent it to Duncan.
With a German fuck you tone.
Yeah.
Just the message.
You know what, though? You know what? I know you called it. That doesn't make me impressed in this situation. Okay? And for those
that don't impress you much?
No. Me and Shania both. What? If you're not sure happens at full time in the Voyageurs Cup, there's no extra time. It goes right to penalties. Well, fuck. So yes, 0-3 against penalties. I'm not going to say opposition in penalties, just the penalties themselves. Forge fails against penalties in general. And to be perfectly fair, it was a calamitous shit show of penalties. Not the finest display of
my God. They were horrendous.
Just like honestly, after seeing some of them, no
one deserved to win.
Yeah, like if I think it was by the second miss or the third miss or the second miss of Forge, I'm like, fuck you guys. If you go out 0-4, Duncan's right. Is that what everybody wants here? Is that what everybody wants? And somehow I was so disappointed at the quality of the penalties. I had lost track of what round we were at. I turned to the missus and I go, is this 4 or 5? And she goes, isn't it over? They're celebrating. I'm like, no, because somebody's going to take a penalty. Like she had no idea either. It was just so abysmal. But yeah, somehow Forge eked out the penalty win, and off they go. And Duncan almost had it right, and that's bad enough, especially predicting that it's going to go to penalties. Nobody wants that shit. I don't want that shit.
Well done, Hamilton. Yeah, fuck you, Aaron Burr. Hamilton finally wins one.
Yes.
Delightful.
Yes. And then not to be outdone, because I guess I don't know if I've got guilt for not going to a couple games lately. I decided to head on up to York University to go check out Vancouver play the YU guys, and I just want to state that A thing that might help York United a little bit
Go
is
on.
having the gates open an hour before kickoff. It would be nice.
Oh my God, that's right. Yes. What it was? What was it, like half an hour, 20 minutes or something?
It was. We got to no. Granted, we got to the stadium super early because 407. And it's an express highway that basically goes from Burlington to York University, which is like the greatest road ever for that purpose alone. Once we parked,
fancy bastard, though. You fancy bastard.
you know what? You know what?
Before I say
If everybody would just piss off on the road for fucking rush hour traffic, I wouldn't have had to use it, and I wouldn't have had to give that Spanish investment firm my $20 or whatever the hell it was. They can go stick it in their butts. But
That's what they do, I hear.
yes, they take the money right up the pooper.
Yeah.
And fine, it was all good. We got to the stadium. But yeah, basically the gates open up with about half hour before kickoff. So that kind of sucked, especially if you want to grab a beer or if you want to get food or find your seats or watch warm-ups. So, okay.
Dude,
all good.
Pioneer Village is next door.
I know, but I didn't think I'd have
You could have
a
gone
45-minute wait in a queue.
You
could have gone
Stuck in the ground.
You could have done some blacksmithing,
Yeah.
drunk some mead.
I
Uh,
probably
Then a
could have
quilt.
brewed some mead with that much time.
Yeah.
So anyway, the game was unfortunate. I really felt like that it ended up 4-1 for Vancouver. The first goal was calamitous. The second goal was slightly less, but still in the category of calamitous. The first one went off like the crossbar and hit a defender and didn't have a chance. It rolled into the net. Good luck. You're not gonna stop that. And the second one, Giant Sopoulos came running out and he didn't get to the ball and then got summarily chipped 2-0. And to York's credit, they did not just roll over and die. They were still fighting for it. But then Vancouver smacked a good one, and it just kind of like basically the head started to drop around the 88th minute when it was, I don't know, 3-1, I think, or 4-1 at that point. And then there was a penalty. Anyway, not a bad game. I wish the scoreline was a little kinder to York. But the pies are totally worth going for. If you're thinking about going and you just want to get a good pie.
I hear you can eat them too.
Yeah. Oh, they're delicious. Charms does some good work, and their butter tart's fantastic. The wife picked up the butter tart. It was fantastic. It was so good. Also, too, they had like $5 beers all game. Now, those of you
Not just before kickoff?
Kristin, I had 1.5 ciders and a stout.
Pardon, who are you?
Right. That for those of you who don't really know me
Lad.
that much,
Holy crap.
that is almost the equivalent of the amount of beer I've probably had in the last year before that game.
You must have been just looped.
I was tripping gently, very, very gently, and the cider was the stout was really good. It was like a York brewery. It had it in the name. I wish I remembered it, but it was a maple stout, 7.5.
Pardon me, and you didn't take a picture of it and send it to me immediately? I thought we were friends.
Now I have to remember if I took a photo of it. But anyway, there may be a photo coming your way, Kristin. I might put it in the show notes if I have that photo.
Okay.
But yeah, and it was we hung out with some of the I don't know, is Saga City Collective still a thing? We ran into a couple people from that collective that used to be or may still be a thing. Absolute gentlemen, good time. But yeah, good game. Unfortunately for the scoreline. Oh, and I got this thing at Ryan Raposo.
Go on.
Hamilton's own. So like his family showed up to the game. Like
Aww.
they were all these people with his name and number on the backs of shirts. And at the end of the match, because York Stadium is weird, like we sat kind of in the end adjacent to the supporters group, but to leave the stadium to go through the car park, you kind of got to go up the stairs and along the back of the concourse of the main stand to go back down the stairs to exit to get to parking lot. And as we're on that concourse, Raposo's up there taking photos with everyone. And I'm like, holy shit. So like I gave my, he's Hamilton's own, Ryan Raposo, he's Hamilton's own. And he gave me a nod and his family applauded. I'm like, oh, okay, I wasn't really doing it for that. I just wanted to show some love to one of the 4 or 5 professional footballers from Hamilton. Why are there more? So anyway, so that was my back-to-back V Cup adventure. Back to you in the studio.
I think
Thanks,
part of Mark's analysis kind of shows what's wrong with the CPL, though.
Analysis?
Yeah,
Air quotes.
that was
Jesus.
deep in-depth analysis. And that's a fact that anyone in that league can chip a ball over a guy named Giantsopoulos. How do you expect to sell tickets?
Speaking of chipping, I believe if you wanted to check it out, it's in the highlight package for the Forge Valor game. Hamilton likes to play the sweeper keeper thing, and as y'all know, I don't like that shit.
Yeah.
And Henry has not been caught ever yet from playing that far off his line. But my God, they went for it. And you saw him like run backwards at an alarming speed, only to like literally fling himself backwards just to get a palm to the ball and knock it away. It was spectacular. But on the other hand, that should have never fucking happened. But the goalie just stayed on his fucking line. But it's not, I don't think it's Henry's fault. I think that's exactly what Smirniotis wants. But it adds more stress to the fact that Duncan predicted the penalties. I don't need this in my football. Especially my local football. I don't need this shit.
But look at the excitement it has you recapping it in this show. If you had stayed on his line and easily made a save, there
would be nothing part of it. But like you mentioned, the whole Giantsopoulos getting chipped, which is
which is
low-key
hilarious.
hilarious. But
Yes, it was.
He should be swatting
I did
away
see that
any
happen,
ball,
yes.
like King Kong on the Empire State Building, just swat.
True. But the moral of the story is go watch Voyageurs Cup when you get a chance. I know it's too late now, but what are you doing? Go. Those are those are better games. Guaranteed. They're better
They're
games.
always better games. Well, speaking of, so the last quarterfinal match was again Battle of BC Part 2. The Aquaman hosting the Cinderella story that was the Rovers, who unfortunately did not make it home for midnight and lost 2-0 to Pacific. But for large swaths of that match, they more than held their own, and looked like they were actually they actually looked more likely to score in the first half anyway than Pacific did. So they did lose 2-0 once the first goal went in for Aquaman in the second half. Kind of, you could sort of see they were flagging. Stuff was just too much. But massive props to the Rovers for how they looked through 2 rounds of the Voyageurs Cup, for how they showed up from a fan base. They had a huge traveling support for this match. In fact, they had to relocate the fans for the Rovers to a different part of the stadium, or give them like more of the section they had, because there were so many of them.
Glorious.
Which was wonderful. And if you didn't like get a chance to see anybody's like stories or pictures or video from the various ferry rides and journeys from different parts of BC to Starlight Stadium, it's worth watching, if you like that sort of thing, which I do. Anyway, delightful stuff. Looking forward to seeing what they do next. And now, of course, they have to refocus on the league for them, but just delightful stuff. And really, it was a lot of fun to watch them play. And if you haven't had a chance to watch the matches, you can watch them back on replay. it's worth your time as far as I'm concerned. But yeah, I happily stayed up to watch that match, and yeah, good stuff. Very good stuff.
Nice.
It also sets up a third Battle of BC, which is kind of fun. Everything runs through. Anyways, it's good stuff.
I feel like Ant is it like TSS Rag is to kind of capitalize on the interest. They kind of opened it up. They're sort of selling memberships again.
Yep.
Right now.
So if you haven't had a chance yet,
Mm-hmm.
it's a good time. They're delightful. Good people. All right. Well, let's go from the mostly feel-good, joyous of the Voyageurs Cup back to more TFC and depression and pain. We talk about injuries a lot. And now some of the injuries, not surprising, Victor Vasquez, that should have surprised nobody that something is wrong with his back again. So who knows when he's back? Sorry, that was anyway.
I go out on a limb here with the injuries in TFC.
Yeah.
Are you going to break a leg? What? Break an arm? What?
I know this is going to be controversial, and people are going to get at me about this, but I don't think the shawarma guy is doing a very good job.
True.
True.
I haven't seen the shawarma guy in a while though, so
distracted by the ice hockey right now.
That's what it is.
Yeah, get your head in the game, Osmos.
Yeah. Yes.
So of the many players that are injured for TFC, so we talked about Coelho getting injured, and it sounds like it's a bad ankle turn. So he's out for a few weeks now. And anyone who's ever done anything to their ankle, and most of us I think can raise our hand, fucking hurts like a son of a bitch. And yeah, they like act up just out of nowhere for no reason. You think you're fine. You've probably like done all your normal shit on it. And then one day you just like step a fraction wrong. And it's like, oh, remember me? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So that one really sucks again because of his level of play. But Matt Hedges out again. Nightmare. Osorio still out. But also, so Shane O'Neill, Rosted. So all of the center backs are out. Diamonde's hurt again. Petretta and Osorio. I said Osorio still out. Vasquez, we know. Peruzza. Yeah, that one's slightly less worrisome. But, the midfield and the defense basically are injured. It's wonderful. And then JMR is suspended not just for one match because of the red card in the match on Saturday. He got another match because he is a stupid child. And we'll talk about that in a minute. But let's just go back to injuries for a minute, and specifically Michael Bradley, who is known for his fitness and is very rarely injured. He very rarely misses matches. Plays all the time. Obviously, that's just a thing. But he's been out for since the beginning of April? Is that right? Beginning of April?
Yeah. Has it been that long? Maybe.
I think so. Yeah. And, you think, oh, okay, so he's got a little something. He's going to be out for, a couple weeks. It's Michael Bradley. He usually doesn't usually miss that many matches. And then suddenly it's announced the other day that not only is he more injured than we thought, he's so injured that he's had to have surgery. He's so injured, he had to have surgery.
That's a weird
He had
joke.
to fly to England to see a specialist.
It's a poor punchline. It really is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, he flew to England. Go on.
Yes, to have a procedure on his hamstring. This was revealed last week, ended
Mm.
towards the end of last.
The British know ham. Give us
Oh,
that.
yeah.
Good
Yeah.
way, but not Spanish.
That's
So he's this doctor is an internationally recognized orthopedic surgeon who like works with soccer players and athletes. Because my first thought was, this is a sport town. There's major sports teams littered in Toronto. Is there not just an entire industry around keeping those people well and or taking, their money for extra treatments or to perform all these surgeries and treatments? But,
I'm
go
sure
where
I'm
you
sure
find the best.
Sure, you could have called up Tej Sahota and they'd have been able to fix him up, no problem. Right?
That's a very good point, Duncan.
Yeah,
Tej would have
like-
probably done it for season's tickets for like the next, for life or kind of thing.
Isn't it weird that we can actually say without even a joke? Yeah, we know a guy.
Yeah, we totally know a guy.
We totes know a guy. Anyway,
so he's out for however long it takes to heal and rehab from the surgery. No timeline for his potential return.
He'd get some good sightseeing in, though. Maybe he got to go and hang out and see a bit of the coronation. Who knows?
Oh, perhaps.
Yeah.
So yeah, the and then again, and we were looking at when we were at the match on Tuesday with Aaron and looking at the injury list, and it's all lower body. It all says lower body, just lower body injury, lower body injury, lower body injury, lower body
Sexy.
injury. Yeah. Seriously, what the fuck are these people doing?
What's going on? What's going on in the tunnel club after hours?
Well, but how? Like they haven't had to play. This is this stretch last week and this week, as the first sign of a bit of a compressed schedule where they've got like 2 matches per week for a couple weeks and then like a straight week and then another couple weeks where there's 2 matches, I think. But up until then, it's been a match a week, every week, single match, Saturday nights, 7. Like we know where they're going to be Saturday night, 7:30. Like this is when they play. So it's not been fixture congestion or playing too much. They train on a pretty good surface when they play, train up at the BMOT G. Now that the weather's turned, I don't know how much training they do at BMO, but some. Still decent surface, one of the better surfaces in MLS from the looks of it, my understanding, at least these days. CFL season hasn't started yet. So what the fuck is happening? Like, is the physio team just that shit?
You say it's all lower body. I mean, so it's presumably either every day is leg day.
Every day is leg day. Lay
No
off
day
the
is leg
weights.
day.
Get away from the leg press machine.
Yeah. No days are leg days.
They're just working on the glamour muscles.
Mm.
It's all biceps and triceps. It's all about selling t-shirts.
Yeah. That's a good point.
Like I have no insight into this sort of thing, right? Like I have zero medical training. So I don't know what it is that causes this. In some, I guess to a degree, age plays into it. They're not the youngest squad, but like they're not ancient.
Well, Kristin, as you may be surprised, but as a qualified physiotherapist,
Go on.
Mark will tell you all about it.
thank you, Tony. So oh shit, what was I saying? I forgot. Back to you, Kristin.
Thanks, Mark.
Smash.
That was oh man. I'm sorry that everyone's not going to get to hear that. That was so illuminating.
I'm sorry about that. I hope it wasn't
Stupid
too hard on
internet.
the ears. Yeah, internet.
Yeah. My internet reached out and like kiboshed your internet.
Yeah.
That's clearly what's happening here.
We had the key to the whole thing right there.
Yeah. As usual, because
Yeah.
that's like our thing, right? Now, apparently, still yet to play for Toronto. Right back. I think he's a right back, or is he a left back? I can't remember. It doesn't matter. Gutierrez is apparently back in training. Not ready to play yet, but he's back in training. So I guess getting over whatever his non-COVID illness is. Anyway, it's so much. So with that, and we were talking about obvious frustration from certain players, or the whole squad, obviously.
With all these injuries, the bright side, there's going to be a lot of chance for some younger players to get some good, solid game minutes in there. Shaquille Marshall ready, for example, he's going to get a good run of games.
Oh yeah, absolutely. He is in like a week. So Jay, you know what? Let's start with JMR, shall we? Yeah, which match do we want to talk about? Which fights do we want to discuss? No, let's start with the V Cup. So if you went to the V Cup, now I had booked it before the incident happened because I didn't want to stick around. I didn't care if the players came over to clap the fans or not. I had no skin off my teeth that day. I just wanted to get home.
Skin off your teeth.
And what you found out while looking at my phone while on the bus, was that there was a few different incidents at BMO Field on Tuesday night. One of which was fans fighting away fans, or vice versa, or both. Who fucking knows? Because these two fan bases, one, seem to like to fight each other. There's a subset from both specific supporter groups, types, that just, this is their thing. So yeah, you've probably seen the video of the guy getting whipped with the belt in the upper stands of BMO Field. Like I saw some of these guys when I was arriving at BMO on Tuesday. I saw them in the tunnel in their black t-shirts and their stupid fucking black masks, bandanas, whatever, trying to look hard.
Sure they weren't ninjas?
It is definitely not ninjas.
Oh, okay. It wasn't Ninja Night.
It wasn't Ninja Night. No. I think that's later in the season.
Okay.
But so I knew, and again, you always, it's unfortunately it is expected. Like there's a history here. I've been, anyway, Montreal fans have been banned from BMO Field. Now Toronto fans are banned from Saputo, at least in an organized fashion, because of the ongoing bullshit between the two fan bases. Again, that is specifically spearheaded by ultra subsets from both fan bases. On top of that, and this one makes me livid, and the person who did it has been banned for life, and hopefully that stands and they enforce the fuck out of it. So after the match, like I said, I booked it. I didn't stick around to see the players. So what I didn't know was that only a handful of the players came over to clap the fans, one of whom was Mark Anthony Kaye, who is a lovely person by all accounts, and obviously has been going through it this last year in terms of his performance, but has been better of late. And honestly, if you watch that match, he was one of the better players on the night. And I've had people trying to argue with me on Twitter about this, and you can try, but you're wrong. He had a good match. He did a lot of very good things that night as a midfielder. And I will happily ignore your wrong opinions. Regardless, one of the few players who had the courage and the guts to come over and thank the fans. Should have been the whole team. I'm disappointed that it wasn't. I was disappointed to hear that. dickheads, one specifically, but it seems like there's more than one, on the inebriati or whatever they call themselves these days. I don't know what their actual name is. Are they trying to pretend they're still Original 109? I don't know. Capo stand.
I think they've got a new name even after that one now.
Is it
Oh yeah, I know. I don't care to know what their name. Yeah.
Inebriati? That's
So the they were hurling they were just hurling absolute, they were just being, obscene in his general direction. Now, he has said, and no one has heard anything on the video, and no one is even saying that this was even part of it. And there was nothing racist, nothing like that. It was just them being absolute dicks towards him. And he got upset. He's frustrated. They're frustrated. And he yelled some stuff back. And, his teammate was pulling him away. He did not climb the capo stand and try and fight the fans, whatever they're trying to spin their own way. We've all seen the video. So the capo, whoever he is, who's no longer allowed to BMO, throws his megaphone at Mark Anthony K. You fucking tit. One, it was never going to reach him.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. This was thrown in the general direction of. He wasn't actually trying to hit Mark Anthony K.
Well, I think in his head, he probably thought that he could make that happen, but it was just stupid.
Yes.
And unnecessary. I don't know. It was frustrating. It's frustrating to see it play out online. What a stupid thing to do. Especially to one of the players who had who actually came to appreciate the fans. And pour all your frustration into this one player. You just attack him. Don't be dicks. Being frustrated doesn't give you a license to be this level of a dick, as far as I'm concerned.
I mean, buying a ticket doesn't give you a license to be this much of a dick.
Good point.
I mean, that's the entitlement, right? I buy a ticket and I can say what I want. Can you though?
You can, but hey, consequences.
Yeah, actions have consequences, dipshit. And this is beating the fucking dead horse because we've seen this nonsense before. And these children who just want somebody to hug them decide to go and try to be hard or some shit. This is not, as much as they think they are copying what they've seen in a documentary, or was it Green Street Hooligans or any of those, guys, you don't stand for anything. Not a fucking thing. What are you doing? Are you that proud of yourselves? Come on. Are you really do people go, yeah, those guys are fucking hard? No, those guys are fucked. See the difference? Look through the lens of somebody who isn't you. It's embarrassing. It's fucking clown shoes. And no player is, well, not that any player deserves to have a megaphone thrown at them. I mean, we could probably have a list of about 20 players historically who could use, say, a pillow thrown at them, but not a megaphone. But Mark Anthony K, sure, shit ain't one of them now. Fucking honestly, give your head a shake. So, I mean, I'm not saying nothing that I haven't even said on this show before. Fuck.
Yeah, or in person, or whatever.
Or but god damn it.
It's so frustrating.
It's cringy. It's so cringy. Everything about it's cringy. The Montreal assholes are cringy too. It's not a TFC isolated thing. The fact that they thought that they were doing some kind of fucking covert operation. You guys are heroes to nobody. Absolutely fucking nobody.
Now,
god damn.
Sorry, I do want to interject quickly. With regards to the fights, I don't know, there's one extended fight, I don't know. There was clearly as well in any videos surrounding all that, a decided lack of security anywhere near all of that. How it ever got to the point that it got to is on BMO field staff and whatever TFC front office sets up for security for away fans, especially with a fan base that has this kind of animosity between it, with a history of fights, with a history of this kind of thing. Man, those away fans should literally be cordoned off by security. No one should be able to get to them that isn't somebody that has a ticket in that section. And nor should they be able to go roaming looking for trouble, as apparently maybe they did. I don't know. I really don't know the whole story behind it all. I don't really care. The fighting was stupid. But security and whatever preparations were made to make, allow for the safety of the away fans, et cetera, that also needs to be looked at and rethought and done better, clearly.
Yeah, that is a weirdly massive. Can you even call this an oversight? Is this? Do you think this is a case that it's only Voyageurs Cup, we don't need as much security?
It's a midweek game. No one's going to be here. Like, is that what they're thinking?
I feel like I've seen more fucking security up there when Chicago shows up. You know what I mean? Like,
well, yeah. And there's less security at BMO these days anyway. So,
no, but even then, like I swear, there's been times we've looked up there and like the away team routed us. When does that not happen? But they're just kicking our asses, and there's like up 3-0, and all of a sudden you see like a dozen fluorescent jackets surrounding the section for the 13 people who showed up, losing their mind. I'm like, okay, yeah, well on you, traveling support from Portland, well done. But you have a security guard for each one of them. What are you doing? But I don't know. Does anyone know how long it took somebody to get the fuck up there?
I don't, unfortunately.
Did anybody ever go up there?
I feel like there should be more security here. I mean, at least on a regular basis, the top of that stand is somewhat full of just regular TFC fans, and that will act as a bit of a barrier in and of itself, because those fans paying the sort of expensive seats and what have you, those aren't the ones that are trying to start a fight, but they're kind of like bodies in the way that will stop random TFC idiots who want to start a fight from getting to the away fans. But for this game, that stand's pretty much empty. Those guys can go over there and do what have you. This is when you actually need like the security more than on a regular game, because it doesn't have that. Right, well, there's a whole bunch of people who are theoretically on the same side of us that it would be embarrassing to be trying to beat these guys up and causing problems. So yeah, you can't really get to the away fans. Whereas this time, yeah, absolutely. The whole fucking stand's just wide open.
Yeah.
That's when you need the security. It shouldn't be less security. Yeah.
Frustrating.
Yeah.
So
Seriously.
frustrating.
What is Bob Bradley doing with this?
Why was he not up there leading the security detail?
I mean,
honestly,
Bob Bradley was probably coaching, but Bill Manning could have been up there cracking some heads.
That guy used to be a Brooklyn Italian.
Exactly.
Oh yeah, that comes with a blue belt of some martial art, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Anyway, so moving on from that, a slew of unfortunateness. Let's look at the tape from Saturday night's match. Good God.
That one's idiotic. Saturday night, this is just fun shiggles and nonsense.
Just post-match handbags.
Yeah, I can enjoy that a lot more. The fans fighting each other is just like annoying and dumb. Players fighting each other, love it. Let's go.
So yeah, it was. It was like after the match, there was lots of whatever, angry fans, blah blah blah. That's always going to happen. But something about a the handshake between Bob Bradley and Lasada, and then shockingly Richie Larea got involved, shocking no one. I know. And then there was like the bench led
Kyoto
by
got involved
Kyoto, who like hit Larea or something, and then Sapong.
Somebody say
Hitler. Who's Hitler Rhea?
I heard it. Oh,
Yes.
I'm not impressed.
Stop it.
Yeah.
But again, absolutely highlighting his immaturity. And a lot of people are like putting this on Bob, oh, why don't you have control over your team? Okay, Bob's on the touch line. He doesn't know what this 18-year-old nitwit is about to do, which is come out of the dressing room where he's been banished by his red card and join the fray.
Like the ultimate warrior.
Yeah, please tell me
Sorry.
Please tell me that he brought a folding chair with him.
Yes.
I saw no folding chair, but what I did see was John Conway like just grab him and march him off the pitch, like almost picked him up, like with wrapped around him and just basically shoved him back down the tunnel. It was kind of funny.
I wish they would have rang the bell wildly and all like players from other MLS teams
like,
started coming down the tunnel.
Right?
Like the whole stable of MLS coming out. Like, remember those days when all the wrestlers would come out
from every entrance with chairs and things. Oh yeah. Oh, the good old days.
Yeah.
So from that, so let's see. So JMR gets an additional game this week, just the one. So he's out for both matches this week, and also been fined. Larea's been fined, and Kyoto's been fined, and then both teams have received additional fines, warnings, whatever for mass confrontations. Yeah.
Does Larea's,
if you haven't seen the video,
suspension carry over to the championship?
What?
I said, does Larea's suspension carry over to the English championship?
Oh, well, he's not suspended. He just has a fine. Only JMR got a suspension. Nobody else got anything.
Well, what about the fine? If he escapes back to the second tier of English football, does he have to hang on
to his passport before until he pays the fine? I'm just assuming that's the situation. So yeah, the video from the fight is readily available on Twitter and on other forms of social media. Oh, it was just
World star.
Frustration from both teams. Although I'm not sure where the frustration from Montreal came from, but certainly frustration from Toronto, led by the hothead of Richie Larea. It's always Richie. It's always him.
He's been well behaved.
He's been better. Well, mostly because he doesn't get any calls hardly anymore, right? Like anytime he tries to do something, they just look at him. They're like, were you waiting for something? And he gets up.
We've been watching a bit of the ice hockey over the last few weeks and everything, and trying to explain to Rose there are some players out there that are just shit disturbers that are out there trying to cause problems and what have you. And it's just the easiest way to say, oh yeah, he's Michael Bunting. Yeah, he's the Leafs Richie Larea, and she completely understood exactly what I meant.
That's great. That's such a good way of explaining it.
But it's going to go out there and try and make shit happen. It's going to try and cause some problems, draw some penalties, all that sort of thing. Yeah.
So again, TFC, who absolutely, it's no problem if they are missing more players. It's not a problem at all. Jesus Christ. So yes, we'll be down at least 10 players, probably going into tomorrow night's match, and probably going in, depending on how some of these on the bubble injured are going into Saturday night's match.
Good news though, good news from training today though. Torsten Frings was in attendance.
Oh, that's right. He wasn't in Union Station?
Oh, I'm sure he came through Union Station probably.
With a ball.
Without any interruption or recognition or...
Yeah.
Oh, it still makes me so angry. It's been years and I'm still fuming about that.
I I was literally thinking about that last week. I'm like, how the fuck who thought that was going to be a good idea? Anyway.
Exactly. What the fuck is he doing there? He's just getting in people's way. People want to go to Union Station to go wherever the fuck they're going. They're going to be stopping to play football. What are you doing, Torsten Frings?
People are busy.
There could be somebody robbing someone with a stuffed animal, and people are like, fuck it, my train leaves in 5 minutes. Like the most inoffensive, possibly unlethal weapon you could think of. Easily stoppable, and they would still be like, my train, I'm sorry. I'm sorry about your purse, lady. I gotta go. Fucking, it's a mindset in that building.
Yes. So anyway, it's been a bad week on pretty much all levels for TFC. On the pitch, off the pitch, in the stands. Rumors flying that, both Bob and Bill Manning are out the door. But again, they haven't announced anything yet, and there's a match tomorrow. So not out the door yet, if going anywhere. And I honestly still really don't think they are. I don't think Bill is leaving.
Who would take care of the Argos?
Well, exactly. No one would want to. So, and because he's agreed to do it, I think he gets to keep his hands on TFC. You want me to look after these guys? Yeah, this is mine.
He has 2 kids.
And anyway, who are they gonna like we said? Who are they gonna? Who? How do you parachute in a new coach right now? What is it? What difference is it gonna make? Like Tony, just as you said, like how is that gonna change anything? And I don't think it is. So sorry, people, but I think you need to buckle in. They're both here for a while longer.
Neil Warnock's available.
Go on.
Dreams do come true.
Sam Allardyce will be available probably in 2 weeks.
Oh yeah,
give him 2 weeks and he'll be ready for a new job. Yeah, for sure.
You know what? Before we move on from this to some just random MLS shit that we're going to talk about, the interesting thing about where Toronto are right now is they are only 3 points out of a playoff spot because it's MLS and it's still technically early-ish in the season. And the bottom half of the Eastern Conference, they're almost all suck fairly equally right now.
So we just need a week where TFC wins and like 7 teams above them all lose.
Exactly.
And we'll be in a playoff spot.
Easy peasy.
Perfect.
Yeah. We're also unbeaten in the Nations League.
Good point.
Or the Leagues Cup. Sorry, whatever the
Leagues
fuck
Cup.
thing.
That is an excellent point. Yes.
Unbeaten in the Leagues Cup. Yep.
All right. Well, let's something that dropped today is one of our favorite things. It's the player salaries. Yay! Player salaries. So if you go to mlssoccer.com, there's a link right on the front page. Or if you just go to mlsplayers.org, there'll be a link right there. You can look at your team. You can look up other players. We're just going to have a quick chit chat about some of TFC's players and who has stood out for us. And I will bring up the one that I mentioned before we started recording, which is Alonso Coelho, who is making league min and is, in my mind, being woefully underpaid for the job he was doing before he hurt his ankle. And if he rides out the season, comes back from the injury, blah, 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 he should be getting a serious pay raise next season, as far as I'm concerned. Because, again, he has been one of the bright spots for Toronto right now.
Money.
Who wants to talk about Io?
Yeah, good for him. He showed a little bit of potential. Got himself some money, and he is not earning things right now.
No. It's a lot of is like you said, Duncan. Good for him.
Yeah,
get that contract. Do it.
Yeah. I have no idea how the sort of MLS salary cap and what have you and all that sort of thing works. So I'm not even going to pretend like, oh, well, yeah, if you'd taken a little less money, we could be doing this and this and this. Yeah, it all makes no sense. So fucking, yeah, go out, get your money. Well done. Capitalize on a hot streak. But yeah, he has not earned that in the last couple of years or so.
Speaking of money,
Go on.
the one that I think surprised us, not just in terms of, because with this MLS salaries, and you'll see this, you've got base salary and you have guaranteed compensation. Most of the time, they're either identical or very close. But some players have, bonuses built in, back end, blah, 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 whatever. But the one that really stands out, well, Sean Johnson's one, because base salary looked a little low, and then you look at his guaranteed compensation, you're like, okay, that's better, because he is a top tier keeper. He should make the money.
No problem with his salary.
But Bernadeschi, wow. Base salary of 3.1 mil, guaranteed compensation of 6.3.
Double. It's over double.
It's over double.
Spectacular.
That is
It blows
a
my
hefty
mind.
signing bonus.
Like,
Hefty.
seriously. Like, again, good on you for however you negotiated that or whatever, but woof.
Yeah. Insigne, 7.5, 7.5.
Yep.
You've got to
I
stay
feel like
here
it was
and earn your
different
money the whole
last year,
time.
though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe. Yeah, right. But,
Matt Hedges,
Yeah, good for Matt. Jesus.
seriously, get that money, Matt. That's
good
like,
fucking
I have
catch.
been in this league forever. I'm going to
Yeah.
save your defense when I'm not injured. Give me the fucking money.
They're called hedges funds.
Ah,
Hey.
Oh, I'm so
No.
angry at myself for not thinking of that.
fine.
Damn
I'll
it.
change the name of the episode. That's good.
Sigurd Rosted, though, as well. I mean, I kind of got there. It's like, right, he's a sort of a bit of a journeyman from overseas. He'll be okay, what have you. He's doing it's like 760,000.
Yeah, that one surprised me.
My expectation should have been higher for this guy.
Yeah.
You know how expensive it is to live in Scandinavia?
That's a
Not
good point,
at
Tony.
all.
That's a good point.
Yeah, that one made my eyebrows shoot up a little bit too. Yep, for sure. Vasquez, that didn't surprise me at all. I actually thought it was a little low, but he's obviously hardly going to play at all, so that's fine.
I'd like to just give a wink and a nod and a thumbs up to our two backup keepers. Good God,
Right?
that's good money for two guys who might not get a minute this year.
Like, just under 100 and just over 100K. Like, good on ya.
No disrespect to Greg Ranjitsingh. I'm sure he's a fucking
He's
outstanding
lovely.
keeper, and
He seems lovely.
like I'm not. This isn't me crapping on a backup
No.
keeper at all, or any particular keeper. But man, what a fantastic trajectory to be an academy kid, and now he's making
100K.
Like,
Yeah.
well done,
Like,
sir.
well done. Exactly. Good for you for hanging in there. Yeah.
And also, I would just like to say that because this is in U.S. funds, I'm pleased I can be comforted in knowing that everybody makes more than I do, and now everyone's actually a professional footballer. These are living wages.
Yes.
Yeah.
Especially in Toronto.
Talking of that sort of thing, the MLS players like site, you can go back to whatever. So how much was Nana Radakora making in 2007?
Oh God, it was ridiculous. It was like I was making more money than him at the time.
Yeah.
Was it even 20,000? How much?
$12,900.
Major
Christ.
league nothing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember being
Yeah.
horrified that I, as like a lowly retail manager, was making more than a chunk of a professional sports team's players. Was insane. Pay $12,000. Like, are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah, it's very nice that the basic salary has risen. That that's a reasonable living
Yes.
for someone who's presumably, probably very young or just not very good, but hey, you're making a decent amount of money now. So
Yeah.
that's good. Good on you, MLS.
I still have a fundamental problem with there being a couple players on the team making less than 1% of the highest earner.
Yes. However,
that's but okay. At least that 1% isn't again under
exactly
under a living wage.
It's literally not under the poverty line. It's decently above it. The other thing we should mention before we move on from this is Michael Bradley, who yes,
okay, everybody,
because he
name another player that gets
England.
mentioned in all three segments. Go.
Exactly. JMR.
Red cards, come on.
150,000 for Joe. That seems about right for where he is in his career, given that, you know, all the hype
potential,
about him
all
and,
that things.
oof.
Yeah.
He went to Liverpool, don't you know?
Indeed.
Mm.
So Michael Bradley, who was making 1.5 last year, which I think was already a reduction in his previous salaries, took a pay cut. He restructured his contract so that they had more money to spend on other players. And I'm not a massive Michael Bradley fan, although I've come to appreciate him over the years much more than when he first got here. This is one of those things that is annoyingly self-sacrificing and noble. And also, he doesn't need the money, and is acknowledged that.
Is it? I mean, we have this thing that's been put out to say, okay, yeah, Michael Bradley, he did this so that to help the team, what have you. Or did the team come back to him and say, yeah, we're not going to pay you that much. This is all you're going to get. And he grudgingly accepted it. And we don't have to buy the spin that
I like buying the spin, Duncan. Let me be happy.
Was Bob and Bill and whoever saying, all right, hey, Mike, 1.5 million for you next year. And he was like, oh, no, I couldn't. Oh, absolutely not. I doubt it. Let's,
You're so cynical, Duncan.
Little bit.
I choose to believe in the nice story. So there. I don't know. Anybody that we know that has ears inside TFC that knows the truth, besides assistant GM's Jason Hernandez version of things? Hi. Thank you.
I'm sure it's a bit of both. There probably is an element to it where he was going and thinking, all right, sort of realistically, let's move this down a bit and we'll kind of figure it out. But yeah, I don't think it's just a straight up, oh, what a selfless, sacrificial guy he is to be giving up all this money that the club was willing to give him. Probably not.
Who knows? The shadow knows. Anyway, MLS salaries are super interesting. Toronto, of course, has the highest salary in the league. Currently, as we've discussed many times, they are not getting bang for their buck. But I did see a really interesting thing showing revenues from last year for the top and bottom teams in the league right now. And Toronto's still in the top 5 for revenue from last year. So money's still coming in, or at least it was last year. This year, we'll see what happens as the season goes on. But yeah. All right. One last thing before we move on to 2 TFC matches, which we're just going to probably predict losses. MLS, in their need for more money and to continue to find ways to edge out or take over existing fan bases. 30th team announced, basically. MLS
Sacramento,
has reached
congratulations.
You'd think it'd be Sacramento.
I mean, they've been the next team for the better part of a decade and a half.
Something like that, yeah, and they have infrastructure in a really rabid fan base and just name recognition, all the good things that you want. No, they've turned their attentions to San Diego.
It's the same state.
San Diego Loyal?
It's down the street.
Mm.
That would be nice. Apparently,
call
it's
themselves-
not.
If they just call themselves Golden State, it'll represent everybody.
Mhm. But California
apparently-
Raisins FC. They,
Oh.
you know, who
Why would
can
this
get
not-
behind that?
Okay.
WVA,
Mm.
Wales Vagina Albion.
Interesting.
San Diego.
Jesus.
That's what San Diego
Jesus.
means.
So
San
the
Diego.
deal has been awarded. Okay, can I talk about this, or are you just gonna just
Oh,
hush?
Are you
All of
taking
you.
seriously another expansion team and getting?
No, not at all. But you're the one who sent the link, so I thought we were going to talk about it.
I was just
burn,
producing
Tony.
the show.
Pardon. Do you
Kristin.
really want to go there right now?
Mom and Dad don't fight. Mom and Dad don't fight. Mom and Dad don't fight. Mom and Dad don't
I
fight.
feel like you used to put a lot more enthusiasm into that, Mark.
It's fine. We'll take you to the store. We'll buy you a toy. You'll be okay.
I want Lego. God damn it. Okay.
You can have Lego.
Thank you.
All right. Anyway, so it's to a group for a new team in San Diego. There's already a team in San Diego Loyal. This apparently has nothing to do with them at all, which is hilarious. So $500 million agreement. And the best part of that, is that it is already tens of millions of dollars more than the last expansion team from 2019, Charlotte,
Hey.
which was 325 million.
There was no Leagues Cup back then.
No, that's a good point. Someone's got to pay for that cup. And then the really fun comparison that got put into this thread is what TFC paid back in 2007, which is 10 million. And MLS.
Oh, but TFC have been losing money every single year. Yeah.
But there's a great chart that shows, more or less between, in the low millions, Oh, here's a couple teams that broke 100 million. Okay. 150. And here we go. Give us the money. Give us St. Louis, Charlotte, and then San Diego way up in the top right-hand corner, all by itself. And it's quite the thing to look at in terms of how they are just extorting money. Because they're like the league's 30th franchise with previously prioritized bids in both Sacramento, which we've been expecting them to announce for, as Mark said, like a decade, but seriously for like the last 5 years, and Las Vegas, failing to reach an agreement. As in, no one wanted to pay $500 million.
I have a lot of hopes for San Diego. That they'll embrace the 1970s Padres and make their colors brown and yellow.
Yes. Oh my
Please.
God, yes.
I'll even take the navy and orange
Ooh,
updated
solid,
ones from
yes.
the 90s. I
Come
really
on,
love
It's
those.
got to be the brown and
But
yellow.
yes. I'm
Plus their
with you.
fans
I'm
would be
with you.
called Padrenistas.
Awkward, but I like it.
And also too that they embrace one of their former clubs of the city and choose the name either Sockers or Jaws.
Oh. Sockers. I think Sockers.
Terrible
I think
names.
Sockers.
Please be the
'Cause
Sockers.
That would be fucking awesome.
Yeah, that's give yourselves a soccer name, the San Diego Maradonas.
Very good. I like that. Although that makes Diego Maradona a saint signed by law.
Yes.
Okay, took a second. I'm with you now. That's really good, Duncan. That's really fucking good.
It's right there in there.
That's so good.
So stay tuned for, I'm just waiting for the
Who are we kidding? It'll be San Diego SC or FC
Yeah.
San Diego.
Probably something that clever. San Diego town.
San Diego City.
Ooh.
We need a town in this
That
league.
sounds nice, San Diego town.
Like a place you want to visit. Hey, have you ever been to San Diego town? Oh no, really? Where is it? Oh, it's on the water. It's lovely.
I hope they go with North Tijuana.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be good.
I mean, imagine the League's Cup rivalry between them and Tijuana.
Tijuana
Jesus.
North End.
Fuego.
That is going to be intense. Tijuana North End. Yes.
Well,
Let's
briefly
that's
talk
about it for this
about
week.
two Toronto matches this week. So as I said, they've got two matches. They're at home tomorrow night, day after recording, to the Energy Drinks, and then they're away to Austin Celtic on the weekend. New Jersey, just as bad as Toronto. Only just ahead of them in the standings on goal differential. They haven't won a game on the road. They are not good. Out of the two matches, this is the only one that Toronto has a chance in hell of winning for two reasons. One, the aforementioned New Jersey sucks and sucks on the road, but also they are missing more players than Toronto.
Impossible. Nobody can be missing
12
more.
players apparently potentially out for them for this match, which is just bonkers. Where is there we go. Yeah. 19, yeah, and 12, yeah. There is actually 12 that have been ruled like just out for them. And a couple of them, oh God, 3 of them, that's hilarious, is yellow card accumulation. One of them is away on international duty. Okay, sure, yeah. And everything else is injuries. Oh, sorry, and 1 suspension. Oh, this is hilarious. I mean, no, it is. So, yeah. There's a chance, people. There's a chance. So let's bring up that player to watch list and see what's
Play to watch the one that's playing.
Yes, exactly. Who's available to play? What player will we see? Maybe the keeper.
Is the Wicker Man playing?
Hold on. Let me check.
Is the
The Wicker Man.
Sorry.
Oh, sorry, the Wickle Man.
No.
He's available.
There's mine, Wickle Man.
I'm going to Carlos Coronel. Charlie Colonel.
Why not Kyle, Duncan?
Available. You're good.
Good point. Why
Duncan?
not Kyle? Tony? What? Hey? Very confused.
Kyle,
Venus?
Duncan.
Yeah, I know it is Tony. It's Kyle, Tony.
He's not available.
Who? Who's not available?
Oh.
Kyle. Duncan.
Duncan?
Neither is Luquinas. Damn it.
Here.
I have to pick a new player. Shit. Back I go.
Don't say Kyle.
Reyes isn't available.
Duncan.
He's not available. Stop it.
I want to, Tony.
Harper? Is Harper available? I don't even know who he is.
Is Lord of the Pitch Jay Tolkien?
He is available. You're good.
Is
You're
he?
good. You can go with that.
Yeah. All right.
What
sweet.
about AJ Makuchi?
Also available. Oh, he hasn't played a minute, but he probably will.
Makuchi. Yeah.
Yeah, all these players that haven't played, get ready for your first minutes.
Clean sheet, AJ Makuchi.
Damn.
He ran the laundromat down on the south side.
Oh, clean sheets, Makuchi. Hey, why do they call him clean sheets?
Oh, you got laundry over
Why do
there?
they call him clean sheets? Donuts.
Anyway, yeah, they're missing several players that looks like they would normally start. Not everybody, but they've got a good chunk of starters out as well. So, all right, predictions. Oh, yes.
Sorry,
Yes, go
before
on.
we get into that, I was I just was looking at the little page there and thinking, okay, who are actually the good players? And I'll filter this by goals scored. And I realized it was already filtered by goals scored. And there's only one of them that has more than one goal all season. He's got 2.
They're not very.
Absolutely
Woof.
killing it this season.
Yeah. They're not very
No.
good, apparently.
All right. Well, predictions for this one.
1-0
2-0 New York.
1-0 New York. Clean sheet, smog, coochie.
Ah. 1-0.
2-1 Toronto. Indeed.
Hey.
And now we turn our attention to Austin Celtic on Saturday. Doing slightly better.
Now, this is a team just fucking full of players to watch.
So many. There are a lot. It's true. There's a good heaping helping.
But goodness, there's a lot of players.
Watch your mouth.
Mm.
So Austin are also not very good.
Hooray. Fuck you, Precourt.
They actually have fewer points than TFC,
Yay, fuck you, Precourt.
which is kind of funny. Well, it looks like they scored almost a goal a match, but they looks like they let in a fair number. Their home record isn't that great either. So there's a chance now. Haha, not a chance really, but just on that, there's an opportunity, let's say, for Toronto to do something, but they won't. Let's look at players to watch for this one.
This team is loaded with
Fun stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
names.
Yeah,
Jesus,
yeah.
between like
You
Jesse
Rudy.
Zardes
You
and
Rudy.
Alexander
Oh, I forgot he was
James all
there.
over my booty.
and Maximiliano Urruti.
Yes.
One fucking
Yes.
goal.
Get me
I
my
totally
tunic,
forgot that's
Kip.
where he was.
Yes, Captain.
And then there's
Will
Will
Bruin. I
Bruin?
know. Fucking Will Bruin's still playing.
And Ruti's doing better than Jesse Zardes, who has 0 goals in 559
Which is-
minutes.
Just weird considering.
big
But
games.
Arsenio. Oh,
Yeah.
sorry, it's Asensio. Sorry.
my favorite swear
Yeah.
word,
Kolmanich.
Fagundes.
Oh, is he Zoltan Kolmanich? Please.
Neil
please.
before Jean.
Oh, he's
Nice.
Sean. That's sad.
But his last name looks like Cole Maniac, so that's kind of cool.
I'm going to go with Fagundes.
I mean, how can you not? You know, that's a nice, comforting, throwback.
Watch your mouth.
He's still, I like, good
Is-
for him for still being in the league. Do you know what I mean? Like, he seemed like he was fully going to
Yeah,
flame
'cause-
out, right? Like, just burn really brightly and then just be nothing. And,
Yeah, I was going to go with forgotten and overlooked, but yeah, you're right too.
It's Kip Keller.
yes, Captain.
Keller.
Ha.
Eh.
Oh my God! Now I want to see Kip in an Austin Celtic.
He's the right color.
It's totally the right color.
Yes, Captain.
Jesus Christ.
Ugh.
Oh,
Oh, Amy.
so good.
Amy.
Oh my God! How do you say this guy's name? What?
Finley.
Alexander Radovanovic.
Leo, but
Calrissian.
Väisänen.
Strong
Yeah,
Finnish
it's-
name. Look at all
I
those
know.
dots.
It's Finnish for grip.
Leo Väisänen.
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 Yes.
Väisänen.
Like as in rub some Väisänen on that before you try to squeeze it in.
Yes. Yes.
It's
Gallagher.
I'm talking about like home repair. Get your minds out of the Gucci and
Mm.
There's a stretch.
Oh, is that where Ring is? Oh, I didn't realize that's where he was.
That's where the ring is.
Huh.
Ethan Finley's still playing.
Yeah, I
in the
know.
league.
It was
That's
like,
nice.
oh, look at that.
Yeah. Well,
This is where careers have a
Yeah,
stasis.
it's really like I feel like Austin is
Fucking
just like
list.
sort of
Not only that, their
Brought them-
technical advisor is Claudio Reina.
really. That's
Technically
funny.
speaking, yes.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with like seriously, I'm gonna go with Alexander Ring just because it doesn't look like he's done much yet this season. So if there's ever a time, it's now. 'Cause you're
One
playing
ring
Toronto.
to rule the game.
Indeed.
Is Owen Wolf the son of Coach Josh Wolf?
Oh, maybe.
Nah, it can't be.
no, he's hungry now.
Josh Wolf
Too
was
old?
born in 1977.
Oh, okay, then never mind.
Well, yeah, wait a
Ah.
minute. He's 40.
No, wait a second. No. Don't forget how old we are.
I know. He's 46. Owen Wolf is 18. Okay, shit.
Oh, totally then.
No,
Yeah.
very possible.
Owens is the son of current Austin FC head coach
Yep.
Josh Wolf.
Josh
Wow.
Wolf.
They're the new Bradleys.
Yeah.
Little
The
nepotism, exactly.
And
Delightful.
brother of Tyler Wolf, who plays for Atlanta.
Oh,
Ooh.
a dynasty? What?
Yeah.
Well then, it's like, wait, the Osorios have something. Well, no, the Osorios haven't broken out of.
They're the new who were we talking about a couple weeks ago? Shoot.
Oh, shit. Who were we
American.
talking about?
Now in Puerto Rico. Wegerleys.
Got
Was it
yes,
Wegerleys? Yeah.
Yes.
Well,
Or
Lassiter's.
was it last
It
year?
was
Lassiter's.
Lassiter's.
It's the
Yeah.
Lassiters.
There's a Lassiter in Montreal now, and
Yeah. It's the
son of
Lassiters.
Roy. But yeah, it could have been the Weberleys. Yeah. All sorts of options. Sports is a nepotistic thing, apparently.
Yeah, but it could be a little less in the United States. I mean, come on.
There should be an entire team of Nepo Babies FC. You could totally
Yeah,
make that work.
Absolutely.
31st expansion
Daddy
There we
team.
go.
Yes. Yeah.
$600 million.
Uh-huh.
Las Vegas Nepo babies.
Come on. You got to go with the Euro. It's got to be called Daddy Town.
Oh, no, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. Has to be
Welcome
the
to-
FC Daddy. Thank you very much.
Kristin, welcome to Daddy Town.
Stop it. It's awful.
Here's a scarf. It's made of silk. Daddy Town.
Oh, that's
The
horrible.
pops. Up the,
The
up the pops.
Up the pops. Up the
Of the
pops.
pops. Predictions for this match?
I'm not reading any of it.
Predictions is the big like fan song for that team is to like Tom Cochran. My boy's going to play
Yeah.
in the big leagues.
Oh, it was just gonna be Pop Goes the World.
It can be both. Yeah.
Yeah.
Predictions for this game.
3-0
Austin.
Toronto, slump buster.
2-0 Austin. Slump
I don't know.
buster.
Yeah.
Nice.
Duncan?
2-0 Austin.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
2-2.
Well, this whole thing's going completely to hell.
Yeah,
2-2. Oh, look at you.
I know.
But at the
Full
end
of
of the day,
optimism. Full of unwarranted optimism.
the real winner will be Daddy Town.
Why don't you?
Oh
Daddy
no,
Town.
no, Mark, stop it. You do not need that in my head.
Yeah, what a chant that is.
You guys are the worst. Oh, I'm gonna have to listen to the Macarena or
Interesting.
something to get that out of my brain. Anyway,
God,
Their ultras would be called the Fatherhood.
stop it.
Jesus. Okay. All right. Now I'm interested. Keep going.
No, stop. This is the worst. All right.
They always give a Werther's original when you leave, though.
You're thinking of Granddaddy Town.
Granddaddy Town. Yeah, I know. Granddaddy Town.
That is the end of our show.
Is it?
Yes, I'm
Isn't
going
it?
to try to make it so. It probably won't happen, but I'm going to try. Please join us next week when we see if we can recap a better week for Toronto FC. Find out if Bob and Bill still have jobs. Let's see what else is happening in the world of football. Ooh, Voyageurs Cup recap. Yes, that'll be exciting. Oh no, Voyageurs Cup preview. What am I saying? Semifinals next week. We're going to preview the fuck out of those. And whatever else is interesting or exciting happening in the world of football that we feel like talking about. So thank you all for listening and following along this bit of madness. I've been joined by the entire Vocal Minority Podcast panel, to be found out there on the Twitters at Duncan D. Fletcher, Mr. Duncan Fletcher.
2 weeks off, 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 2 weeks
for
off.
Duncan. Out there on the Twitterverse, holding it down at VMP Towers, at Vocal Minority CA, Mr. Tony Walsh.
You'll never walk alone because Daddy's gonna pick you up in his Trans Am. Daddy FC.
Daddy
Oh,
Town.
sorry, Daddy Town FC. Sorry. DTF.
Oh.
Crosstown rival
DTF.
stepdaddy.
No. On the tweet machines, at Kit Nerd Mark with a K, not a Q, Mr. Mark Hinkley.
Thank you to everybody who continues to support us via Patreon. And after an episode like this, I don't know.
Did you say
why, but thank you. An episode. Yeah, that's the podcast for Daddy Town.
Live.
No.
Shirts, Zazzle, go find them on our website. Tony, I meant to tell you this.
Anything.
So for some reason, I was looking up. No, it's worth it. I promise you. I was looking up Dinamo Brest roster for some reason. You know, I like to live in the past. They have a kid on the team whose last name is Burek. And as soon as I saw that, I thought of you,
that's
man.
amazing.
Burek.
Oh, no.
Anyway, that was it.
As for me, you can find me on the internet. Yes, the entire internet at KZ Knowles. I have been your host, Kristin Knowles. Until next week, Canada, get used to it.
DTFC.
ETFC. Yeah. DTFC. Yes.
Who
I like
dates all your
this.
moms?
I'm supporting stepfather athletic.
Jesus Christ.
Isn't that Stepfather Wednesday?
Love it.
But sometimes every second weekend they
Okay.
play.
I know, to be fair, Motherwell has been around for God knows how long. There needs to be a Daddy Town.
Oh, preseason
Yeah.
friendlies. Daddy Town
Yes.
versus Motherwell.
Mhm.
We used to be a serious podcast. Wait, no, we didn't.